Hello everyone, my name is John Bussart. I'm an HP Solution Center engineer for Ingram Micro. I help support HP servers, blade system storage, as well as networking technology solutions. In this series of videos, we're going to explore the StoreOnce backup systems. So these are disk-based backup systems, deduplicated disk-based backup systems that you would point your backup software to as a target. So something like HP's Data Protector, you'd point to these solutions and you do your backup jobs to them. What I like to do in these videos is kind of show you a PowerPoint slide and then kind of demonstrate to you what that means within the interface. Today I've chosen this slide, and really what I want to focus in is on the NAS capabilities of this storage solution, as well as how easy it is to be able to manage and provision storage to be able to provide a backup location for your backup software out there. So with that being said, let's explore this solution. So here's the management console. So let's log into it. Basically, you get this navigator section, and everything here is pretty self-explanatory, right? And based on what I select over here, I get my payload of information here. I'm going to expand out this top category. You can see that I got VTL as well as the NAS capabilities listed here. I'm going to expand out NAS. You can see that I have shares listed underneath. If I select NAS itself, you can see that I have the ability to do a CIFS server as well as an NFS server. All right, and if I select NFS, I can add the host that I want to allow to have access into the environment. So I'm going to select CIFS. I'm also going to select Edit over here, and I want to show you the type of authentication methods that you have within a CIFS server environment. So I could have no authentication, user, which is a local user database, as well as an Active Directory authentication mechanism. So I'm going to set this for none. Okay, and let's go down to shares. And what we'll do is under shares, we'll create a share. Right, I can give it a name. I can change that if I feel like it. And I could choose the access protocol, CIFS or NFS. And based on what I select, then I can assign permissions. All right, permissions in this case would be the local user database, and I have not selected user as my authenticated mode. I've kind of have no authentication for this. All right, so let's create this. As it's creating, we can see down here that this is my network path to this share. So let me select that and copy it. Okay, my share is online. So now all we need to do is go to a system and mount that share. So here happens to be a system that I do have Data Protector installed on. So I'll go down to computer, map a network drive, paste in my location, and if I wanted to reconnect all the time, obviously I'd put the check mark in that box. I'm going to select finish. So this again would be a target for your backup software. Although you could use it as a straight up file share if you wanted to, it wouldn't be very high performance because really this is meant to be a duplicated system. So its main job is to take information that gets backed up on the system and look for duplicate blocks of data and reduce the space. And common in marketing material out there will say you kind of get a 20-to-1 deduplication ratio. So for every 1 terabyte, you could get about 20 terabytes of backups on the solution. All right, so that's no authentication, so that's not very secure. Obviously, we'd like to have a little bit of authentication when we're coming to the environment, or if we use this, we'd have to have very strong physical security or separation within our network. So let's disconnect this, and let's add some permissions to this share. All right, so I'm going to go back up to the NAS, and I'm going to change my authentication method from none to user. So this would be the local user database. Get a little message about, I'm changing the authentication, so anybody who's doing a backup to that share is going to get interrupted. So select continue. All right, now I'm set for user share. If you notice, there's no users currently available, so I'm going to create a user. Call this backup admin. We'll give them a password. Verify that password, and we'll update the environment. All right, so now I have this user, and certainly I could have multiple users inside this infrastructure. Now I can go down to shares, and I've got my shares selected already, and select permissions, and you see this backup admin is listed. Right now they have no access, so I want to edit that and allow them access into this environment. Select update. Again, we get the message about interrupting backup jobs. All right. Now we can go back to that same system that have Data Protector on. Paste in my share again and click finish, and you notice I get prompted for an authentication. So let's type in backup admin and then this user's password. All right, so again, this is a backup repository for something like, HP's Data Protector. Oop, if I could spell here. All right, so again, it's a backup target. All right, so again, let's disconnect this. Go over here and just update this a little bit. And then I'm going to go back up here, and I'm actually going to remove this user real quick. All right, now I'm going to change this authentication method to Active Directory. All right. I've got my domain already listed here. I could certainly change that. I'm going to select Update, Continue, and now it wants my credentials for my administrative account for my Active Directory service. Yeah, we're going to register. It says it's successfully registered to the domain. I'll click OK on this. And we'll wait for the domain controller to show up. And maybe I'll just click away and refresh it to kind of quickly get it updated here. Let's do that again. Okay, we can see that we've joined the Active Directory. And actually, if I go into my domain server, I can actually log into Active Directory users and computers. We can actually see the name of the system, which is just an appended serial number. So if I go back into my StoreOnce system, you can see that's the name and that's the serial number. All right. Now that that's happened, I can remotely administer this. So I'll launch the MMC, go up to File, Add Remove Snap-ins. I'm going to scroll down to Shared Folders, add that. I want to administer another computer, which is actually going to be my appliance, my StoreOnce appliance. Then I only want to administer shares. I'm going to click Finish, and then click OK. And then I'm going to expand shares. And we can see that share 1 is now listed here. Then I can right click, select Properties, Share Permissions. We'll add my administrative account. All right, and we'll allow full access. And we'll click Apply. And then OK. All right, now I can go into this server, and this server isn't a part of the domain, but we'll map the network drive again. I'll click Finish, and now it's asking for my credentials again, which will be my domain credentials. Oops, if I could type here again. Click OK. And you can see that the share comes back up. All right, so that's kind of how you set up CIFS directories and provide some level of authentication. Let's disconnect from this again. Let's go back to my StoreOnce menu. So we can also do NFS as well if we wanted to. And if I wanted to, I could add, in the same way that I added the users, I could add machines in this environment and provide permissions to shares that I have inside my environment. If I go down to shares, we're going to go create a new share. This guy is going to be called share 2. But this time I'm going to do NFS. I'm going to select create. And we can see it creating up here. We'll select share 2. I think we can actually see the path listed here. So I'm going to highlight this. Now, this is pretty typical, easy to do if you're, everyday administration, if you're using a Linux environment. If you're doing a Windows environment, you need to kind of set up the environment to be able to accept that. So let's look inside my infrastructure. I'm going to launch Server Manager, and we're going to look under Roles. If I scroll down, we'll see Role Services. So I'm just going to quickly select Add Role Services. And certainly I've got this as a file server as well as services for a network file system, or NFS, and it's installed. If that's installed, what I can do is map things out as I would normally inside an environment. So select Map Network Device. I select that path. Again, I could select Reconnect that login. Select Finish. And you notice we have access to that. And again, I could point my backup software to this share. So again, something like Data Protector could put its backup jobs inside the environment. So that's about everything I wanted to show you today. As you can see, this StoreOnce backup appliance is pretty easy to use. Whether it's big or small, it's the same interface to be able to manage it. With that being said, I'd like to thank you for watching the video, and stay tuned for other videos from Ingram Micro Solutions Center, and have a nice day.